So a client reached out wondering if I could do alterations on this dress that she had got thrifting. I asked her what exactly she needed. She actually asked if I do alterations on everyday wear. I told her I prefer not to. My focus is mostly formal wear and bridal, just because it is not really worth my time or worth your money. But I was like, you could go ahead, come in, let's see what's going on. So I did ask her what she needed, and she said the snap on the dress had fallen off, and she wanted to find out if I could fix it. So there you have it. She brought me the dress. The snap, one of the snaps had fallen off, and then one was still on. So I was like, okay, I can go ahead and replace it. I asked her if I could use smaller snaps because I didn't have the bigger one, and she was fine with that. So I was like, okay, off to work. So I'm using my seam ripper to just remove the snap that was left on and just take out the pieces of thread that were still there. I also removed the pieces of thread that were left on the other snap. I believe it fell off because some of the thread was like dangling there. I am going to be hand sewing this. So I'm using a needle, and I double threaded my needle just so that it's sturdy and reinforced, and it would stay on. So I got one part of the snap. The snap has two pieces. I don't know if these have a name or they're called something else. I've seen like male and female part, or the spike and the, I don't know, the female part. I'm not going to use those terms. Just know that there's two pieces. There's this piece with the little peak on the top, and then there's this other one that you snap in. So I'm just hand sewing the snaps on. It's actually, it has holes around. So sewing all around the holes. And then once I'm done that, I just tie it on in the back, reinforce, and then snip that off with my snipping shears. After I do the first one, I kind of like gauge and see where the second part is supposed to be. And then I go ahead and do that. And that's the second part. And just align it and then start to sew that on. Now listen, you've heard me say this before, that I do not prefer to do alterations on everyday clothing. I just feel that it's not worth my time and it's not worth your money. Besides, you have complained that the alterations that I charge are sometimes more than the cost of the piece that you buy. I also strongly believe that everyone should be able to do some basic alterations, basic sewing. But Monday, how am I going to learn how to do this? You're in luck. My workshop, my course, So Simple, Alterations for Absolute Beginners, is finally out, and enrollment is open. So you don't need to complain anymore that you don't know how to sew, because I will be teaching you how to sew through basic alterations. Be sure to enroll. I do the same thing with this one, except I am not going all the way through the fabric, because this part of the dress is kind of like forward facing, so I don't want to see like ugly stitches on the top of the dress. So I'm just very carefully using the fabric that's on the inside. And once I'm done, there you have it. New snaps, reinforced, great. So if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, enroll in my class, So Simple, Alterations for Absolute Beginners. See you there.